Welcome to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, with your host Zaki Baruti. And like always, I want to give a shout out to my biological family. What's going on? To the Universal African Peoples Organization, what's happening, and to New Life Evangelistic Center, headed by Reverend Rice. Keep up the great work, and a shout out to our cameraman Bob. On that note, we'll have another great show, because in studio with me is a young lady that is very outstanding in her field as it relates to documentaries, historical documentaries, and issues important to our community. And I'm speaking none other than Tiffany Lee, who's the founder and president of Think Black. Yes. Welcome to Conversation with Zaki Baruti.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tiffany, when I begin all of my shows, I always like my guests to share a little of their background for the people who are listening to the program. So if you will, give us a little insight into, Tiffany's life, or wherever you want people to know about Tiffany.
Okay. Well, my name is Tiffany Lee, and I am the founder of Think Black. We are an organization that we create podcasts, documentaries, the interview series, and hope to expand to like full movies. We do short documentaries right now on the Black experience and Black history in America. I am an educator. I've been teaching on the college level since 2007.
And what college are you teaching at?
Right now I'm at Rankin. I have previously taught at St. Louis Community College and Harris Stowe.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Now, what community were you raised in?
East St. Louis.
East St. Louis.
Yes,
That's my
exactly.
hometown also.
Yes,
okay,
my hometown as well. Yes, I love
And what
East St.
high
Louis.
school did you graduate from?
Lincoln Senior
Lincoln High. Yeah, Lincoln High School.
Yes,
That's great,
exactly.
great
Yes,
school. Okay,
a historically Black school.
And where did you do your undergrad at?
SIUE.
Man, we have a lot of commonality. That's where I graduated from also.
Okay.
Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville.
Yeah,
Right,
me too. Yeah.
Right. And your major?
So my undergrad major was psychology. I did my graduate degree at Lindenwood in communications.
Oh, okay then.
So that's what I'm teaching, mainly communications and some Black history.
Now, your company is Think Black.
Yes.
The name Think Black. How long has it been established, and why did you choose the name Think Black?
Okay, so I had been doing work on Black history for some time already. I published a book called Legendary East St. Louisans, an African American series, which was co-authored with Reginald Petty, East St. Louis historian, and that was in like 2016. So I've been doing work in the community and so forth, and I was on the board of NAACP. I was working with the MLK Commemoration Committee. I was just doing a lot of community work, even with my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and I saw a gap. I saw a gap where it wasn't educational programming in the community related to Black history. Okay, so that's what made me start Think Black. I started Think Black in 2023, and so Think Black came from the name from the movement in the 60s and 70s. Zaki Baruti actually has a book called Think Black, and it's really just about thinking about Blackness in a positive way. Thinking about who we are as a people, our resilience, and learning to kind of love ourselves.
You mentioned Zaki Baruti, just for our audience. He's an outstanding author.
Right.
In fact, he motivated me with one of his books, Enemies Clash of the Races.
Okay.
So why is it important for folks to know about Black history?
Because if you, I think that essentially what I say is, in America, Black people are often defined through this negative lens. And we even define ourselves sometimes through a negative lens. So we have to learn about who we are as a people. It's not So it's about changing our perceptions of who we are. I think that we have to learn our history, who we are, who were the people that preceded us, what they did. But it's not just about a victim mentality. It's not just that they may have been victims of societal things that happened. It's about how they responded to those things, right? So we have so many people in Black history who have, built communities. We came out of slavery building communities. And so I think that we need to learn to realize the importance of what we did, who we are as a people, and that can help us to move forward, right? Because you can't be a Black person and defining Black people in negative terms and don't think that applies to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, part of what you're doing with Think Black, you may mention you do documentaries.
Yes. So I have a short documentary out, and it's called "I Bear Witness: The Untold Stories of American Race Riots." We cover in there. I worked with the 1917 Commission to commemorate the East St. Louis race riots. At that time, it wasn't a lot of people who knew about the East St. Louis race riots. So our job in the community was to educate people about the race riot. A lot of times at that time, you had people say, oh, it was one of the worst race riots. And you had 1919 with Red Summer, where it was over 36 race riots happened.
Over 36 race riots
happened.
And now when we talk about race riots, break that down, where Black people are attacking white people, or it wasn't the case?
No.
Well, we'll get into that on the other side of the break.
Do you have any idea how many people are having to sleep outside? Yes, viewers of the Zaki Baruti Show, you are being called into action at this time. Your help is urgently needed here at the New Life Evangelistic Center. Our teams are going out every day, and we need your prayers. We need your gifts here because we receive no city, state, or federal dollars. How many times I have to personally run to the store in order to just buy meat and bread? People could be making sandwiches and bringing them to the doors here at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. They could be buying cases of water and bringing them here so we can get these out to the homeless people. 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. They could write out those checks and send them in because we have to buy this. They're depending upon us. And not only that, they get bus tickets, hundreds and even thousands of bus tickets distributed to so many people that need transportation assistance. We can't do it without each and every one of you. It's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org. Your prayers are urgently needed at this time. Come on, and you watch the Zaki Baruti Show. You hear about the various issues. Now it's important that we respond to those issues by helping so many people that have fallen through the safety nets in spite of the promises of the politicians. So many people are hurting right now. They're out there. They don't know where to go. What are they doing? I don't see hardly anything in St. Louis County, Jefferson County, St. Francis County. I can mention county after county, Madison County, St. Clair County. They want to ship them to St. Louis. St. Louis can't take care of all the problems. But we got to get all these other counties involved. In the meantime, we got to get your church involved. We need you. I've got a book I've written that if you'd like a copy of that, it's called The Case for Compassion. We'll be happy to share that with you if you request it. When you send in your gift to New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org. It's called The Case for Compassion, citing over 2,000 Bible verses that are used throughout the Scriptures, and yet we don't hear about this. I preach like we should. You can get a copy for your minister. But let's get our churches involved. Let's reach out. Let's help those that Jesus referred to. The least of these, after you've done to them, you've done it unto him. Let's help them right now. Please get involved. Call us at 314-421-3020 or share that much needed gift at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is Miss Tiffany Lee, and she's the founder of Think Black. And on the other side of the break, we're talking about the various documentaries, and we were on the question of race riots back in the early 1900s, at part of Black people's sojourn here in America. Mm-hmm. And you were saying there was over 36 race riots.
In 1919 alone.
In 1919, I was asking, were Black people attacking white people, or what? It was not. What was the circumstance? Explain the circumstances.
So race riots, and a lot of people take issue with that term, race riots. I still call it race riots because throughout my history of researching race riots, I've found that in order to kind of hide them, it's been named so many different things. So race riot has been called election riots. It's been called Southwest Missouri riots. It's been called Cincinnati riots. But essentially what it was oftentimes it was a black person that was accused of some crime. Oftentimes everybody in the town knew that that person did not commit the crime. And there was a lynching that occurred. And then after that, the white people in the community then went and demolished the black community. And this happened in so many different communities, the reason why, like I was saying, I worked with the 1917 Commission, and everybody knows about Tulsa, right? Because we were talking about Tulsa when we were kids, right? Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, everybody may not know about Tulsa.
1921, what they call the Black Wall Street Greenwood community, which was a very successful black community that was making, a lot of money. Where they talk about the dollar just flowing in the community, when they talk about that, they talk about that as if it's a unicorn, right? Like that was the only one. And the truth of the matter is, the race riots didn't start happening in 1900s. I traced them back all the way to the early 1800s. And Cincinnati was a community that suffered race riots in 1829, 1836, 1841. So you think about that.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, but 1829, and Cincinnati is a city in Ohio, and Ohio was supposed to have been one of the northern states that black people
flourished.
Or escaped while blacks were in the South in bondage. Right. So black folks was catching hell in the North also at that time.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, there was a race riot in New York City. It was 2 race riots in New York City, right? So, but Cincinnati, Ohio, that community, they had what was called the Iron Trust Real Estate Company. I think that it would be worth like $8 million today. Those people were working, they owned property. They were buying their family out of slavery. They owned businesses. There was one man named Henry Boyd. He owned a $1 million furniture business. It was burned down so many times by white people that were jealous of his success that ultimately he had to close his doors because no insurance company would insure him anymore.
Wow. So for folks who's listening and may have a knack for understanding history, are there any particular books and you have documentaries on that in of itself?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, any book that you would recommend for folks' preview?
So books that I would recommend, I am working on a book called I Bear Witness, Untold Stories of American Race Riots. And it's called I Bear Witness because it also includes those narratives from people who were actually victims of race riots, because it's important that we tell those stories of those people from their words. So I would say Sundown Towns by James Lowen.
So what's the name of it again?
Excuse me, Sundown Towns.
Sundown Towns. Okay.
He has posited several theories of why these race riots occurred. That it was actually because of it was white populations trying to create sundown towns. So they were essentially trying to run the black population out of the town so they could create a town that was all white.
And they would run them out by sundown. You had to be out.
Right, but, so if you got a large black population, right, and then, of course, they're working there, they have an economy there, and so forth. So if I run you out of town, then, only thing you'll come here to do is work, and then you got to leave before sundown. But the thing about that is these people are staying in this community. Imagine someone, because they don't like the color of your skin, they just come and burn your whole house down, kill, your family and so forth. So that's one. Also, Dr. Lumpkin's book called American Pogrom. Is about the 1917 race riots. So there are several books out
I know
there.
there was one book. It looked like I read, early in my life. White author about the East St. Louis race riot.
Yes.
Rudy.
What is this?
He was
yeah, it's
professor.
called the East St. Louis Race Riots. He was a professor at SIU. Yes, I've read his book, and I actually use his book for notes. And for some reason, I can't even. Elliot Rudwick.
Okay,
that's his name.
Yeah. He was a good teacher too. I took a class from him.
He was like one of the people who really first started documenting information about the 1917 race riot. The problem with his book is that it more so covers it from the standpoint of it just being about labor issues that were happening in East St. Louis. And I think that Dr. Lumpkins takes a further look at that, it was a lot of black people in the town that were fighting for their rights. And that is what essentially led to the race riots, not just a labor issue.
Right. And when we talk about the race riots, too, I'd be remiss if I didn't share that, and I forgot the author's name, but everybody must get a copy, black and white and what have you, of 100 Years of Lynching.
Okay. I haven't read it.
Yeah. With that said, though, we don't have to take a break.
Behind me is the New Life Evangelistic Center administrative offices in Overland, Missouri. And this is where we shoot our shows for our worship shows and the Here's Help Network. And it's also where Zaki Baruti and Bernie Hayes shoot their shows. You can find all of these shows at the New Life Evangelistic Center app, the NLEC TV app. You can also access them on your tablet or on your computer. And this is how you can stay up to date with all the things that New Life Evangelistic Center is doing. There are so many different programs that we've got going on, and God is doing many exciting things through partners like you. So if you want to support the work that New Life is doing, then please access and give through the app. You can go online at nlecstl.org or give us a call at 314-421-3020. Again, 314-421-3020. But this is the best way to get plugged into the amazing work that New Life is doing through people like you. And so there is something for you to get involved in today. And we are so thankful for our partners. Only through the grace of God and your gift are we able to bless others today.
One of the most significant events in Tulsa's history was a race riot that occurred in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921, following World War I. Tulsa boasted one of the most affluent African-American communities in the country, known as the Greenwood District, but surrounded by residentials known as the Black Wall Street. On the morning of May 30th, 1921, a young black man named Dick Rowland was riding in the elevator with a woman named Sarah Page. The Tulsa police arrested Rowland the following day. Over 6,000 people who were held in the convention hall in the fairgrounds, some as long as 8 days. In the early morning hours of June 21st, Black Tulsa was looted and burned by white rioters. 24 hours after the violence erupted, 35 city blocks lay in charred ruins, and in 2001, the Tulsa Race Riot Commission indicated that historians now believe that close to 3,000 black people died in the riot. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with Miss Tiffany Lee, a historian and a person who is creating documentaries about the history and the struggles of black people here in this country. How long are your documentaries normally?
So the documentary that we have out right now is 17 minutes. So it's a short documentary. And what we're hoping to do is to raise funds for the full length documentary. So that one is called, the I Bear Witness, Untold Stories of American Race Riots. I founded a nonprofit called Heritage Programs, which is about we focus on programming that deals with Black history to educate the community. And I just found out yesterday that we received a grant from Missouri Humanities to actually do a 35-minute to 45-minute documentary specifically on the Southwest Missouri race riots.
Oh, okay then.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of your documentaries that you have produced, how can people access them?
So, because the short documentary is you can access the trailer on my website at thinkblack.us.
What is your website?
It's thinkblack.us.
Thinkblack.us. Okay,
yes.
so they can go on and access those.
The trailer. So what we're doing is we would be willing to do a screening. So we had a screening in February here in Missouri, and if you want to reach out to us to have a screening, then you can just contact us through the website of the short documentary. So we're trying to use that to raise funds for the full-length documentary.
Okay, then. Now, I know in terms of the documentaries, you did one in terms of the people in East St. Louis. Am I right?
You're talking about I did a series called I Bear Witness, Freedom Fighters on the Front Line.
Okay.
The one where I interviewed you.
Oh, you gonna interview me?
Yeah.
Well, okay, what was the concept behind that, first of all?
So the series is I Bear Witness, Freedom Fighters on the Front Line. And the purpose of the series is to, in some ways, show the lineage of Black liberation. So essentially what we were doing, I interviewed people who were a part of the civil rights movement, and then also people who were a part of the Ferguson uprisings. So it's released, it's actually on YouTube. STL TV worked with me on that series, and they show it on their TV channel as well. My YouTube channel shows is YouTube, and it's Think Black Cultural Media Group on YouTube. And so each week covers a different thing. So it was done for Black History Month. Week 1 is just called From MLK to Ferguson. Week 2 is
MLK, Martin Luther King to Ferguson.
So we interviewed, we interviewed Soulard Gordon, who was a teenager at the Memphis March with Martin Luther King, right? So she was there for his final march in Memphis, and she was also there for his final speech.
And who is she?
Soulard Gordon.
All right.
She was a teenager at that time. She's local now here in St. Louis. She was a teenager at that time, and her oral history had not been captured. I was happy that she came onto the show and she talked about it, and it was so inspiring. You know, she talked about MLK being their Moses, you know. And then I interviewed a young man that you referred to me, Farrakhan Shigag, who was a part of the Ferguson uprisings. So that week was that. Then week 2 was from protest to politics. So we interviewed people who were a part of movements, the civil rights movement, Ferguson movement, who were also in politics. So we interviewed Vervis Jones and Maria Chappelle Nadal. And week 3 was called BAM, the Black Arts Movement. We interviewed Eugene Redmond, who was a part of the 60s Black Arts Movement, and Dale Chambers, who is a part of the current Black Arts Movement. And then in week 4 is called The Movement, Past, Present, and Into the Future. And in there, we interviewed you and Jamala Rogers because you guys were a part of both movements and you continued the work. So that was the cap of it. And so check it out. It turned out better than I even, thought that it would be. Right. Yeah.
All right, we'll have to take our final break.
Since 1972, New Life Evangelistic Center has been on the front lines, reaching out, helping the hurting, the homeless, the fatherless, the widowed throughout mid-America. Yes, although it's had its roots in St. Louis, it now has expanded throughout mid-America into India, Africa, Haiti, and other places around the world. Oh, what a history New Life Evangelistic Center has. And we have many of these history books available to you, and they're right there on Amazon. And if we can help you get one of those, you contact us at 314-421-3020. But in addition to all that, we want to share a lot of that history with you right here as we take a look at how the work began and how the Lord has taken us throughout the years and the miracles that we have seen, all because of caring people like you. You're part of the history of the New Life Evangelistic Center. And we're believing that 2025 is the year that the center is going to become alive and seeing the Lord do exceedingly beyond we can even ask or think. We're on the verge of miracles. Yes, New Life Evangelistic Center has a rich history, but there's much more yet to come. And that's why I'm inviting you to familiarize yourself with the history of the past and be a part of the miracles of the present. Yes, let the Lord God Almighty work in you and through you. Let Him do exceedingly beyond what you can ask or think. He's got a purpose for you. And we want you to be able to live out that purpose as you get directly involved in the history of New Life Evangelistic Center and what the Lord is doing now.
God is our hope, and when we set our eyes on Christ particularly, we see that He has redeemed our lives. I hope that this message has helped you so much, and I pray that you would partner with us and join in the incredible work of giving hope to people who don't have any. Please go online to nlecstl.org and learn about how you can offer life-giving hope to those in most desperate need for that very thing.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, and we're going to have a couple more minutes with Tiffany Lee, Think Black, and documentaries that you've already shared. Now, what else are you doing? Do you have another podcast or anything of that nature?
So under that banner as well, we have a podcast. It's called the Black Boss Ladies Platform Podcast.
The Boss Lady.
The Black Boss Lady.
Oh, the Black Boss Lady. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh!
Black Boss Ladies Platform
okay.
Podcast. And essentially what we do on there is we interview successful Black women about their journey to success. And the goal of that program is essentially to inspire other young women to look at different avenues of success, to find their purpose.
Okay, then. So you have had a number of sisters.
Oh, yeah. I've had
there?
some great women on there.
And how long is that, your interview on your podcast? And how can people see that particular podcast?
They can go on YouTube on that one. It's under the Black Boss Ladies Platform on YouTube.
Boss Lady.
Black Boss Ladies
Black
Platform.
Boss Lady platform.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yes, and we've had some great women. You know, the Broad View is getting ready to they're getting ready to have their ribbon cutting ceremony at the end of March. And our first interview was with the developer of that, Yafet El Amin. So that's going to be a huge project for East St. Louis. And it's the largest development that's happened in the city since the Casino Queen. So I know she
in East St. Louis.
In East St. Louis,
right,
yes.
Right.
And
old Broadway.
The old Broadview. And
Broadview.
It's so significant because we couldn't even go in the Broadview when it was first built. Right. And so I actually did some history for that building for them. So yes, the podcast, please check it out.
Okay, then finally, how can people get in contact with you?
So you can contact me through my website, thinkblack.us. You can also email me at thinkblack.tlee@gmail.com.
All right, I appreciate you sharing.
Thank you for having me.
And to my audience, like always, elections are coming up. Know the issues. Get out and vote, as well as join an organization. Everybody needs to belong to an organization. We say join an organization that has a history of involvement and working to uplift our people and speaking truth to power. We say join the Universal African Peoples Organization. On that note, may God bless each and every one of you.